Hey bike farmers, thanks for clicking in. It's been a while since we've seen one this crusty up in the stand. I mean, it is literally disintegrating here. These tires are just crunchy. This is a Marin Palisades Trail. I'm guessing from the early mid 90s probably. It's actually got some pretty nice Tange tubing and an STX drivetrain on it, which means it was kind of middle of the road when it was born. Somebody at some point put some semi-slick tires on it. It is really kind of worn out. Yeah, this thing has definitely seen better days. This bike was given to me. I had some old classmates that were, their parents died and they were cleaning out their parents' house and having an estate sale. They called me over to look at all the bikes and I told them, hey, you know what you should do is try to sell them at your sale. You're gonna get more money than selling them to me. And then whatever's left over, I'll either buy from you or if you wanna give them to me or whatever. This was my least favorite of the 4 bikes or 5 bikes that they had, but I told them, I'm like, hey, it's gonna make a great video. So on Sunday night at the end of their sale, they were like, we got 1 bike left over, you want it? And I said, sure, and I went and grabbed it. And I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do with this? Well, I finally made up my mind. We're gonna put on these tires. I think they're great all-arounder kind of mountain bike tires. I imagine it's a smaller frame, so this would be a perfect bike for a kid to bomb around town on, a nice all-rounder commuter type bike for a kid. I've got these handlebars with a little bit of a rise to them, which kind of gives it a modern feel and a more upright stem here. Yeah, these blue bars, I think are just a little too dated and these shifters are worn out, so I gotta take everything off anyway. So it's kind of like, man, I'm just gonna like tear it down and rebuild it, I think. These brakes are kind of neat. They're like this anodized aluminum brakes that match the bars, but I'm gonna abandon that color scheme. I have a set of black cantilever brakes here and the pads look okay on them yet. I got some brand new 3x7 trigger shifters. I bought a whole bunch of these during the pandemic when we couldn't get parts, and I've just been slowly chipping through them on these old 3x7 21 speed bikes. Go with some new grips, some new pedals, and a takeoff saddle. So it's kind of a sporty-ish saddle. The kids don't seem to mind with the saddles as much. But I think once we get this thing stripped down, polish the frame, clean it up a little bit, this is one of those bikes that could last someone the rest of their life. The bike was given to me so I can afford to put all these parts on it, and I can still probably get like 300 bucks or something like that. I should still come out ahead on it. If not, it should make for an entertaining and informative video for you. So I would say, you know, kick back and relax and let's get started. Per the usual, we're gonna pop these wheels. Oh, sorry about that. I'm glad I caught the audio problem that fast. Pop the wheels off and cutting the cables off. We're gonna replace pretty much everything on this bike, it seems like. And this housing's even crusty, so I might as well cut new pieces of housing and just new cables. The shifters are coming with new cables anyway. This is gonna kind of be a major restoration. Not complete teardown, but more than I usually do. You know, we can get all that. Now everything's, you know, now we just have whiskers. I think I'm going to go one at a time with these just to get the lengths right. It's a little bit easier sometimes to go one at a time. Front reflector's missing here. Hey bike farmers, I just wanted to take this lull in the action to let you know how much I appreciate that you've clicked in to watch this video. Now that I've been at it a little bit, I'm starting to learn why everybody's always asking for more. The AdSense money is just barely enough to make it worth starting a channel. If I want to sustain this for the long term, I'm gonna need everyone's help. Now don't get me wrong, your attention is enough. Don't feel obligated to give more, but I've tried to make it as easy as possible. You can always click the super thanks, that's the heart with the $sign in the middle of it, or consider a monthly membership. The monthly membership will give you a little star next to your name, and if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. I'll see the star, and when I see it, I'll definitely give you an answer. You'll also have access to a little more behind the scenes action that non-members can't see. With all that said, thank you so much, and let's get back to some bikes. I have no idea how long I didn't have audio for. Oh man. That sucks. How long? I gotta check that out. Well, I just noticed the audio issue and the batteries were dead, so I charged it. So sorry about that. We will get on with the show now. I got the brakes on the rear, and you saw I did the cockpit, and we're just reassembling this bike. I think we still got quite a bit of video left here, so we're not gonna scrap it all just because of one snafu. Just a little reiteration here. We got some comfort grips. I'm reusing these short pull levers and putting new cantilever brakes. Well, they're not new, used Shimano cantilever brakes. 3x7 trigger shifters. Those old grip shifters were all worn out. I cut some new housing for the front brakes. This riser stem and riser bars has given this bike a much better stance, I think. But the brake housing was too short, so I'm assuming that our shift housing will be too, but that's wrong. Shift housing is fine. If anything, it's a little long, but yeah, I think I'll just cut some new housing an inch shorter, something like that. But before I get going on the shifters, let's do these front brakes. So what I did with the rear is I used a bit of emery cloth just to clean up the bosses a little bit here. I don't think it really needed it, but while we're starting fresh, you might as well resurface stuff. A little bit of grease on the bosses, and then I always try to stick a little in the holes for the threads. These are really some nice quality Shimano cantilever brakes, but the brake pads are shot, so we'll replace those all in due time. That one was already loose. It's really too bad about that audio issue, because that was good footage. I'm gonna do these pads right now. So I hold the front with a 5mm, and then it's just 10mm in the back. That's pretty standard across the board. I just used Jaguar pads. And right now I'm just putting them on here for safekeeping, just so we don't lose bits in all of our faffing about. There we go. One thing I guess worth mentioning is I had a two-step cleaning process on this bike. I used Dawn Power Wash for the first step to kind of degrease everything and really clean it. And then I used Behold furniture polish, and that kind of polished it up a little bit. And yeah, I think the frame looks pretty good now. And you know, these ratcheting wrenches sure are helpful. I use the Park Tool ones, and there are affiliate links to all the tools and everything that I use in the description. That helps me out if you go buy it. A lot of people buying the cleaning and lube and that kind of stuff. This piece of shift housing here is really long. It doesn't need to be that long. I'm gonna go cut a new piece. Got the new piece of housing here. I just take a sharpened spoke or any kind of pokey tool. If you have an awl or something like that. Actually, I'm gonna freshen up the ends there a bit. Find some ferrules. Nice. Okay, off camera, I cut a couple of pieces of housing for up here. I used the old housing and made it a little shorter. Now I'm just kind of flooding the cables here with some tri-flow. Oh, dropped a ferrule. Okay, so the front cable comes down through the cable guide underneath the bottom bracket, and up she comes here. Okay, and I'm gonna put a little bit of tri-flow on the cable where it goes through the cable guide down there too. And a little bit of tri-flow up here on the anchor bolt. Grab my 9mm, make sure my shifter's shifted all the way out. Pulling as tight as I can here. Pretty good. Pretty good. Very similar procedure for the rear. Goes through the cable guide underneath the bottom bracket. Get a little bit of lube on that cable there. Lube where it's going to go through the loop. Okay, check my shifter. Oh, I had a couple clicks. All the way down. Cable tip. This is the really fancy Park Tool EP1. Uh-oh. This one's fraying a little bit. It's a little bit trickier. Okay. Okay, pedals have a left and a right. On the left side, threads on opposite, so you can do this. All right, get them threaded on, and then find a way to tighten them both. So here's the piece of housing for that rear brake cable, and there's really nothing wrong with it, but all of the other housing is new. So I'm going to cut a new piece of this too. Brake housing is a little different than shift housing. You can see there's like a little barb, and I grab the barb with the cutters like that, and then I just send it flying across the room. This one is already pretty clean. And then to really try to make it friction free, take a sharpened spoke and just open up the inner sleeve. That should be smooth. A couple of fresh ferrules. There you go. Now these are slick, stainless steel slick cables, and it's there's a sleeve inside that housing, so I really don't need the tri-flow too. This bike came with this little plastic frame protector thingy, so we'll reuse that just because I like it. Get this thing strung up. I think we'll do some wheel work. Oh, the rim strip broke. And these tires, you can see they're just blown out, totally shot. Yeah, this tube has been smushed up in there. New tubes and tires. Ooh, yeah, this spoke protector, AKA dork disc, is yellowed and cracking. There you go, guys. They just turn yellow and crack. That's why they're bad. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Put a new one on though, for sure. So with spoke protectors, I see 2 spokes here, and then 2 parallel spokes, parallel, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need a 4-prong spoke protector. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3, 4 means 32 hole or 32 spoke rim, which means 4-prong. If you did parallel and then they were crossing on the opposite side, that'd be a 36 hole, which would require a 3-prong. Keep all that straight. Actually, let's clean up this area a little bit of Dawn power wash. We'll just kind of do a bit of degreasing in here. Nothing too major. It always just gets filthy right away, but since we have access, might as well wipe as we go. What's going on here? Maybe I'm wrong about something. No, I did. I said 4-prong. I grabbed a 3-prong. I confused myself. Yeah, 4-prong. Here we go. Prong. What a cool word. I like that word, prong. Probably wrong, prong. Ooh, maybe we'll clean this up too a little bit. I'm gonna take some Ecotech degreaser and then one of these brushes. This is probably a gigantic waste of my time, because now I just have a mess to clean up. We got some clean streak here. Look at that, it's just like magic. Give it one more run through like this. Alright. Okay, so that's way more better, hey? Make sure everything's together the proper way. Okay, that's all freshened up. Let's talk about my inflator for a second. This comes from Efficient Velo Tools. They're the same ones that make my bike stands. These are made in America. I think they just buy these parts and assemble them. They might machine this really fancy Presto-Valve adapter, but I was skeptical about whether or not these are worth it. Now that I have one, this is the best inflator I've ever used. I've always just done chucks and done things by feel. This makes it so I don't do things by feel. I have a gauge staring me right in the face. I know exactly what's going on. I love it. I'll have an affiliate link, or not an affiliate link. I'll just have a regular old link in the description. You can buy it, support these guys, made in America, small business. Can feel really good about it, and it's worth it. All right, I'm gonna put this tire on the rim. I like to find my valve hole and line up the logo with the valve hole, and this one's nice because it says 65 PSI, so you kind of know what to shoot for. Take my fancy inflator. Give the tire a little bit of volume. Nothing too crazy, just a little shape. Okay, I'm bringing it up to like 15 pounds. I just don't want to blow it off the rim. Everything looks to be seated pretty good. And it's early in the morning. My compressor hasn't kicked on yet. It will in a second here. But I think it looks like I got 60 pounds in here. Perfect. I don't know if you just heard that, but the compressor just kicked on. We're just going to repeat the process for the front wheel here. Okay, and then we just repeat exactly what we did there with the front wheel. Hey bike farmers, a quick note. If you're looking to get serious about fixing bikes at home, look no further than the Park Tool AK5 toolkit. I have an affiliate link in the description. This kit provides all the basic tools you'll need to tune up just about any of the bikes that you see on this channel. It also comes with the Big Blue Book of Bicycle Repair written by Calvin over at Park Tool. Also in the description are affiliate links for all the basic things that I use. The grease, the degreaser, the one step, the Dawn power wash, Behold. If you see anything else that I don't already have a link for, let me know in the comments so I can add it. I hope these affiliate links will help encourage you to take this on as a hobby or even start flipping bikes for a living like I do. I think I just finished up this wheel. I always like the part when we can turn it back into a bicycle and reinstall the wheels and watch it take shape. back here in brake land. All right, I'm setting this cable tension just so the cantilevers are just splayed out a tiny bit. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it so they're kind of straight up and down. And then I'm gonna set my pads to touch the rims. And then I'm gonna let some cable out, and then I'm gonna call it good. See what I'm doing there? I'm gonna hold that just like that. Get it finger tight. And now I'm making sure this doesn't move with my left hand here and the 5mm, and tightening the crap out of that nut back there. Okay, and that moved a little bit, but we can manhandle it back into place. Then I'll repeat the process for this side, which I know is off camera. It's really hard to get this angle for you. Those of you that watch a lot of these videos know you never see this one. Maybe once or twice in there. Okay, we can get it to that point. And then maybe, oh, that's exactly what I was trying to avoid. Okay, we'll use our fingers. Okay, so we're not getting, oh yeah, we do have a little tension screw here. So there's no tension screw on this side. This is the only one we have. Tightening it will bring everything this way. Loosening it will push everything that way. But we have pretty even tension on these brakes. I mean, that feels really good for a start. But we can tighten it a bit. Probably should have squeezed it right out of the gates. I bet I was really close. That feels almost too tight. I'm squeezing as hard as I can on that lever to try to pull, like to compress that housing and stretch that cable as much as possible. I love it. I absolutely love it. I ain't touching it. Nailed it. Turn on the afterburners and then stop on a dime. Hell yeah. Going through with the bottle of Tri-Flow here and just lubing things up. Bikes like that. Okay, the money shot. So I'm using Finish Line One Step. This is a chain that hasn't been touched. This bike hasn't been ridden in forever. So a nice thin lube that kind of cleans and lubricates. And it's my favorite for reanimating a bike like this. You know, something that's been sitting dormant forever, likes to come back to life. Work through the gears a little bit, right? Take a nice filthy rag, grab that chain and then just run the chain through the rag. And then work backwards. And I kind of do this with the chain, right? To, you know, I don't know, stress it and kind of, I imagine that like the bushings are moving around in my hands and just really cleaning, you know, the whole system, not just the outside of the chain. There's a lot of lube and cleaner on there right now, you know, we're just wiping off the excess, and the dirt and grime and dust that's been building up is all coming off too as part of it. Sometimes the super filthy rags become saturated, so you're not really removing anything. So I'm taking it's kind of like sandpaper, you know, where you use the different grits and you go through the different grits. That's kind of how I do this. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the chain cleaners. I just think that it like, you end up with just a wet, degreased chain. Then you gotta dry it, and you know. And this, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you don't need a super clean drivetrain for a bike to work great. I suppose clean is more optimized than dirty, but this bike doesn't need to be optimized. It's definitely, you know, we're gonna make it really presentable, but it's definitely good enough for who it's for. That's what we're going for here. Not good enough for the #1 racer in the world. All right, let's check our indexing now that everything's cleaned and lubed. I'm going one at a time. I mean, it's really good. It looks like everything was set up on this bike properly from day one. So now I'm checking in the middle ring in the front, just making sure it's not rubbing when we're in the big cog, and it's not rubbing in the little cog. Yeah, everything's great. Everything's working swimmingly here. We don't need to make any adjustments. These water bottle screws are filthy. So I actually have a special screw pliers, also affiliate link. Somebody recommended for just this. So I dabbed a little grease on all these threads. Oh, we should keep I have square ones and domed ones. Keep them the same. Drop a little tri-flow in the bolt heads. Clean up after ourselves a little bit. I'd be willing to bet that this front brake behaves very similarly to the back brake. Just a dab of tri-flow, a couple of spots, just kind of makes our life a little easier. All right, I'm gonna set my calipers again so they're straight up and down. Might have to go loosen that other pad. All right, that's a little smushed together. Okay, there we go. That gives me something to work with. So again, I'm just pushing the pad right against the rim. I'm gonna tighten it down, kind of finger tight, maybe a little more so it doesn't move. Although it keeps moving on me. There it is. Maybe. And this side. All right, so I'm gonna let a little cable out here. And then I'm gonna squeeze the crap out of the brake lever and try to stretch things out. Pretty good. I think this pad can move my way a bit. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. Very nice. Okay. All right, we'll get the saddle put on here, and then I think we're done with this one. Looks like a good angle. So there you have it. A little bit of upright handlebars, a new stem, saddle, tires, brakes. We got that blue stuff out of there, cleaned everything up. Drivetrain's immaculate. This is a perfect all-arounder, ATB, perfect kids bike. Really nice, high quality stuff, you know, triple butted, Tongay tubing. These bikes are some of the best, especially with the Shimano hubs and everything. I really, really like this. This was a very satisfying project. If you made it this far, I'm assuming you're enjoying the content. If that's the case, give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't. Send a super thanks. That's the heart with the $sign in the middle of it. Or consider a sustaining monthly membership. You can do that right here in YouTube. You don't have to go to Patreon or anything like that. That'll get you a star by your name. And if you leave me a comment with a question and I see it, I'll be sure to answer you. But before you do all that, don't forget to click that notification bell so you and your bike can stay tuned.